Alright, so Runeterra had a balance patch this week. In addition to nerfing a number of cards, they also buffed a number of things, including Braum here. So Braum notably gained a single point of power, which is really important because this card has Challenger, which means it can force things to block it, and it has regeneration. So even just dealing 1 point of damage to things that you're not killing, but are going to eventually kill, because remember, damage in this game carries over round to round, adds up. This also means as he's accumulating damage, he's dealing some damage, and they added the first time he survives damage on his base level, he summons a Mighty Poro. So he essentially comes with a 3/3 as well, which is nice. His leveled up ability still gives you a Mighty Poro each time, and is a 2/6. We're pairing Braum here with Sejuani, which is probably one of the best champions in the game. Very, very powerful. Frostbites and gives enemy vulnerable. So Frostbite sets its power to 0, and vulnerable lets you make it block something. So this is a pseudo removal spell when it comes out. Sejuani's leveled up form also is very good. The first time you damage the opponent each round, you frostbite all of their enemies, turning their power to 0. And then Fury of the North is a very playable champion spell here as well. Because both of our champions are Fridge Lord, we're able to pair with whatever kind of color we want, and we're pairing here with Noxious for the Crimson cards. So Braum wants to take damage, and so do these Crimson cards. So Crimson Disciple deals damage when it survives. Crimson Curator generates you troops when it takes damage and survives. Noxian Fever lets you deal damage to your own things. Transfusion lets you deal damage to your own things. So there's some good, clean synergy there with Braum and these things that these Noxious cards are looking to do. Let's go ahead and pop on into some games here with this one and see how it goes. Hello, it's my girls. I like your bow.
And her hood.
You got a little hood on and a black bow today? Are we testing out a potential goth phase? You got the hiccups, little girl? Isn't she great? Oh no, there's a bow over her eyes. It's okay. Can you say hi? This is this is Haley, for anybody who's new to the stream, and my lovely, lovely wife, of course, Christy. Opponent is playing Elise. Definitely don't want an 8-drop in my opener. I don't want Fury in the North. I keep the Crimson Disciple and the Awakener here. Not quite sure what the opponent's doing. Are you precious? I think you're precious.
Lady Elise, where are you?
Thank you for coming to visit me. You are very cute.
You've no idea.
So we'll go ahead and we'll play Crimson Disciple out here. So this way, if they want to attack in, they're gonna have to take 1, which is nice. So she makes a spider. We'll get to go ahead and put the blocker in front of here. This will survive damage, and they'll take 2. So we'll take 3. They'll take 2. Well, this is the Leandros deck again. You're right. We have played against this. Go ahead and play the Demolitionist here, which deals the damage here. So if this happens, they don't kill this in response, they'll take a total of 4.
It's very wiggly. Need to hold her.
No, the Mystic Shot, my thing in response. I'm gonna go ahead and attack here. If they want to bounce off of Elise, I think I'm fine with that. And if they want to jump with that, I think I'm also okay with that there. Oh, baby girl, Dad forgot to take the pleb board off. Your dad's not a pleb, he's got fancy cosmetics. This is pretty unfortunate that they had the Elise spell here. Probably just going to get run down at this point. But I expect them to open on attacks here. And these are all fearsome, so there's like nothing we can do here. I guess we're still 2 turns off of Sejuani. Guess we play Crimson Curator. Oh no, I'm worried too. I think we're going down. Yikes. Yes, fine. We needed to change our game board anyways, didn't we? Yes, we did. We'll put the arcade board on because your mommy's here. Your mommy likes the arcade board. And if I ask you about the state of Pioneer, I mean, you can ask, but I haven't played Pioneer, so I have no idea. I assume Inverter is still a deck that's really good, so it's awful. Yeah, Asian's super sweet. I think I probably don't need Fury of the North in my opener here. Oh, I guess Gangplank Thresh, they're probably a control deck, which maybe that makes this playable. Yeah, I changed my mind. Let's keep it. I mean, to be fair, that game we just lost there, like, the previous opponent was playing a control deck, but they had a really aggressive start, and we died to their aggressive start. Inverter was 22% of the Lotus Box from yesterday. Sounds god-awful. Oh, little miss. Oh. Oh. Thank you for coming to visit. I love you. Mommy will take you upstairs and feed you. You are very cute. So, something to talk about, because Christy, I was going to do more explaining, but Christy came in. For people that are hanging out for the Magic section, you haven't seen Runeterra before. One of the things I really like about Runeterra is the volume of action that occurs in this game is incredibly high, and this happens for a couple of reasons. The first is that players pretty rarely run out of cards in this game, and the reason for that is on every turn, both players gain a mana, restore their mana, and draw a card. So, not only do you not have lands or resources cluttering up your decks, but you also just have more cards to play with. So not only does your average draw have more actual action in it, but you also just have more cards in general. The way combat in this game works has some similarities to Magic in that one player declares attackers and then the other player declares blockers. With the notable exception being that blocking is 1-to-1 in this game, so if I declare an attacker, they can only block with one thing. Another thing in this game that's worth noting is there's this mechanic called Challenger, a little hook mechanic here, so Braum can force this to block him, which is nice. King Nuck, interior support. Oh yeah, by the way, if you were here from the Magic section, there is a Twitch overlay from this, but you need to refresh your stream. So if you hit F5 really quick, you'll be able to see a mouse overlay of what's going on. Okay, so they're trying to parlay to kill Braum here. We're gonna transfusion, deal 1 here, puff Braum up. So he lives. Yep, 40 card decks. You can have 3 of any particular card in your deck, with also having the restriction that the champion cards, you can only have 6 total champions in your deck. So 3 of any individual card, 6 total champions. And the fact that you can only play 6 total champions in a deck actually makes the decks really budget friendly in this game. So the Runeterra economy is incredibly consumer friendly. You buy in-game currency and then you just craft the cards directly that you want. There's no opening random card packs and hoping to get what you need. Champion cards are the most expensive cards in the game in terms of buying outright, and they cost $3. There's a pretty realistic hard cap on how expensive a deck can be because of that. Are there things similar to Instance? Yes! So, there's 2 different speeds at which you can go. There are fast spells, which fast spells and slow spells build a stack up in the middle that you respond to, and then cards that are burst are cards that your opponent does not get a chance to respond to. One of the things about the resource system in this game that I love is that you can bank up to 3 mana across turns, which means the normal tempo loss that you experience in games like Magic and Hearthstone from not playing cards in the early turns or not maximizing your mana every turn doesn't really exist, which is wonderful.
Break their legs.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in front of here. So, the way combat and turn sequencing works in this game, your units can attack the turn you play them. However, if I play a unit before attacking, my opponent gets a chance to play a unit as well. So, for example, in this current state where I'm kind of ahead on board, I'd like to attack before doing anything, because that way my opponent doesn't have a chance to add extra blockers to the board. I'm going to force this to block here. This has support, which gives the ally next to it a bonus when it attacks. So the ordering in which you attack with your units here is also relevant. So the fact that I'm putting this and then this means Kato buffs up Braum here, which is great.
You picked the losing side.
The eye on the left side here is a great tool. When you mouse over it, it shows you what the results of combat are going to be. They're warping wailing. So if I mouse over here, I can see this means all of my things are going to die, which I'd prefer to keep Braum alive. So I'm going to go ahead and Fury of the North my Braum to give him +4/+4 here. And now, my Braum will live. And not only will Braum live, but he's going to level up now. So when he survives 10 damage, he levels up. So now every time he takes damage, he summons a Mighty Poro. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Heist. Thanks for your 11 months. I'm going to be sending out a sub survey to all of my subs who are enjoying Runeterra content. Please, please, please take the time to fill out the survey tonight. It's going to be my first real ability to measure people that are supporting me, how much they enjoy this as a game. I personally am loving Runeterra, but again, streaming's my job, so how much Runeterra I can justify doing per stream varies depending on how much support there is.
You are safe with Braum.
If I block here, what blows me out? Just like exactly parlay. Although I guess if I block, I can't play Crimson Awakener, because this will be down to 1 toughness. Yeah, Parlay is slow, but they could play it post-combat, chat. I'm aware Parlay is slow. Parlay being slow is irrelevant to what I'm talking about. To the person that asked what survey, every couple of months or so, I send out a survey to everybody that's subscribed to my channel on Twitch. Because Twitch is my job, for people that are not familiar. I stream full-time here. This is what literally pays for my mortgage and keeps a roof over my head. So I like to try and make sure that the content I'm making aligns with what people that pay me want to see. Fuzzy Kittens, thanks for the 3 months. I appreciate the quarter of a year. We just hooked this here. Thanks, Wisely. Zeckles, thanks for 3/4 of a year. Fuzzy Kittens, thanks for the quarter of a year. That's unfortunate. They're killing this, so this won't get to take damage, so we won't get another Poro. I didn't actually deal any damage to them, so Tusk Raider doesn't actually have the Plunder trigger just yet.
Sure, waste my time.
This can at least trigger and get me a Mighty Porto. Braum has regeneration, so unlike most things in this game, he does heal every turn, which is nice.
We each died and found hope.
Kindler is very strong.
If they don't break, they'll burn.
I'm gonna go ahead and deal a damage to Braum here and summon another Mighty Poro.
Make the Empire proud.
Alright, Poro's cute, chat. He's so strong with his hammer. The IP in this game is so good. unfortunately just don't have anything to do with my resources here.
This is my sword. This is fun, yes?
This is fun, yes? This Fury of the North's a good pickup. This might let us punk them out here. This makes any of our unblocked units lethal, potentially. They have a lot of cards in hand, though, and plenty of mana, so...
Come from the dark.
It's going to be a deal 1 to everything, gain 3. They played a Warping Whale earlier. If they do that, we'll be able to respond with Fury of the North and kill them. If they don't have anything else, that would be great. Yeah, that's a Warping Whale. Great, you're dying. So again, the eye tells me if combat happens like this, they die, so I'm gonna press OK. They get a chance to play more cards here. So they're going to 3. So this gives +3/+3. So they're dying. Click OK. See a little bit of that good back and forth here. So opponent has died. Their thresh level's up, but they're dead. You can click finish to skip through it all too, but... Yeah, the fact that this game has so many playable combat tricks is such a delight. It really, that's really the big, and like, long before Runeterra, something I often talked about in Magic was, I love formats where combat tricks are playable. And, like, Runeterra is just a game. It's just a game where they're playable. That command is old. I'm going to send out a new survey this evening. It will also get posted in the Discord, but it's not currently in your email yet. When was the last time a significant portion of a constructed Magic deck was common? It's not that unrecently. There's been decks that are mostly commons, like last season. The cycling deck was mostly commons and uncommons. Heimer VI. I think Crimson and Elixir are both good to keep here. I think I'm gonna bottom these two. Yeah, the combat system lends itself to tricks being better as well. Big agree. The combat system also lends to board states being less cluttered on average, which is great. Hey, thanks for the 25 months, Time Lord. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
I love a taste of the action.
I'm gonna go ahead and attack with this. They're gonna block. I'm gonna Elixir here to save my thing. So their thing will die, and then they'll take 2 because this is gonna survive combat damage.
Look what you...
Invader Taco, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia.
Advent, come here, handsome.
Hello, dear. What have you got us into?
I love that the related cards talk to each other, and like different champions talk to each other. I think we just play Crimson Awakener here. I could maybe hold on to this to try and get more value down the line, but like, this is gonna deal 2 to them, and it's gonna make a thing. So like, yeah. Here to make sure you keep playing this game. Awesome, I appreciate it. I really like Runeterra. Looking at the wiki, a lot of cards have 50+ voice lines for different situations. That is kind of absurd. Wonder if we'll see them trade here. Yeah, that makes sense. It might honestly be right to leave this back so I can protect it with Transfusion down the line.
we all. Edvin, come here, handsome.
Hello, dear. What have you got us into now? Come, Clara, we have much to teach you.
I can't wait.
Come, Clara, we have much to teach you. Huh? So I only have 6 mana total. What if... What's the most aggressive line? I think it's just Demolitionist.
For the Empire.
So they're trying to kill this with Get Excited. We'll transfusion here from here to here. So give this damage and then transfer over. So now this takes 3, and then they take 2, and then this takes 1, and then they take 4. So they're gonna take 7 total here, right? Or 6 total here. And then I get to attack.
Strike at their foundations. If I must.
That's actually kind of sweet. Barrier lifesteal, that's very good. So they're gonna end up at 5 here, and their thing's gonna live. I have 7 mana plus 2 banked this turn, so I'll be able to play Crimson Curator into Awakener, which will kill this, but I'll get 2 triggers off these Curators, plus I'll have a fatty.
I need no weapon.
We'll take 4 down to 10 here. This is elusive, so I cannot block it, even if I wanted to.
Come here, handsome.
Hello, dear. What have you got us into now?
Opponent's almost out of resources here. We're definitely going to be opening on attacks here. That's unfortunate.
I love a man with style.
I do think being able to see in client things that have died previously would be good. Sounds good, probs. I actually have a bunch of Runeterra decks that have been submitted, which is awesome to see. I feel like if I open on attacks here, I'm pretty unlikely to kill them, which makes me want to play Sejuani. What if I, like, play Sejuani, play Crimson Disciple, attack? I can also play this and wait and see what they do.
You own what you take.
This gets rid of this's power and frost and makes it vulnerable, so we can make it block this turn. Yeah, I agree. I think opening attacks here is not appealing because they're pretty likely to have a fast spell.
What seems to be the problem?
Huh? I think we attack now before they have a chance to play burst things out, right? Never not double Flash of Brilliance. So this card for Magic players is very similar to like Young Pyromancer or Monastery Mentor. It makes you a thing every time you cast a spell. Although the thing you make differ depending on how expensive the spell you're casting is. You're making this big enough to survive. You're still dead on board though, right? Okay, actually just still dead. Deal. It's good. It's a really good thing that the game ended there, because that game was going to get out of hand very quickly with my opponent's timer. Their deck was definitely the control deck there. We needed to get under them, and we were successfully able to. Which is nice. Oh, I'm actually past level 12 on Shadow Isles. Should probably change. So, one of the free-to-play things in this game is you could pick which region you work on leveling up to get free stuff from, and a number of the regions have extra boosted experience until level 12 to help you catch back up. In case you just started playing like me. Opponent playing Darius here, it looks like, which is an aggressive champion. Gets real big when our health total is low. Also just playing Mono Noxious. This hand's actually probably great here, right? Like, if I'm expecting them to be an aggressive deck, Tavern Keep sounds great. Actual best draw on the deck. Actual best draw on the deck. This has Fearsome, so I can only block it with something that has 3 or more power. So not going to be able to block.
Oh, I can't wait. Let me show you what I can do.
How am I liking Braum Sejuani? It's been sweet so far. I'm a sucker for decks that get to play combat tricks, and this deck's got a ton of combat tricks in it.
Nothing can stop me. Shut him down.
My turn. Let's see what you can do.
What if I do this, and then transfusion here to here? I've played Heimer Violence on stream before. You can find lots of Runeterra decks that we've gone through up on my website here and my YouTube channel. I think I like this. This lets me put this to 2 toughness, which means Noxian Fervor can kill this down the line, which is nice.
What will you say? We ride for Noxus!
Well, that means we don't have good attack, so we'll just pass here. We're gonna bank 1 mana, so we have a total of 6 mana here. See if they open attacks here or not. They don't open attacks, we can deploy Crimson Curator, which would be nice.
Carve a path!
Advent, come here, handsome.
Hello, dear. What have you got us into now?
They buffed Rider in the patch. Seems fine. It's like they're Mono Noxious, so like it's always a 6/4 with Overwhelm. This game has both the most friendly free-to-play economy and the best pay-to-play economy of any digital card game out there. It's just very, very well done.
I'll try anyway.
Noxus! Charge!
Bit of a mistake here on their part. They decided to play this out before attacking, like basically letting me know that they don't have anything else. So this block here, I'm gonna go block here, deal 3 here, deal 3 here, and then I think I'm gonna go ahead and trade these here. Take 1 total, and we trade off boards mostly. Seems fine for us. Oh, if I use Fervor on the 5/5, I get a thing out of it. Yeah, good call. Thank you for pointing that out. You are correct that it is strictly better to hit my 5/5 and get a free thing.
We'll need more food.
So I missed some free value there. Thanks for pointing that out.
Let's go outside. This is fun, yes?
I love a man with style.
Heard it all before. It is easy, see?
Believe in the Braum, chat. Oh, yeah. It's gonna give us another Poro here, too. You get to tap Braum with this, and he'll make another Poro friend.
Cut him down.
JK, he's not leveled yet. JK, he's not leveled yet. I know how my cards work. Shh. We'll figure it all out eventually, I promise. He already made one.
You are safe with
He already made one. He doesn't make one every. He only the non-leveled version only makes one the first time.
Let's talk about your dad.
Let's get a good look at you.
So I'm gonna take 2. These are all gonna die. Their things will take some damage.
Think hard. Think strong.
I feel like they probably have some combat tricks here. Really, they don't. Okay.
Run while you can.
Interesting. I really don't have anything to do with my mana here, which is super awkward. It might be right to just take heart this now, just to like use some of my mana this turn.
I have my orders.
This gives it +3/+3 permanently. It's not till end of turn. So Braum's just a big boy now. Hey, Fresco, thanks for the entire year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
I have the name. I need the reputation.
So this needs to take 3 more damage to level up. So when we hook this, we'll meet that condition. Oh, I should have attacked with this too, right? I don't know why I didn't. We're just clicking too quick.
Look how we have grown. It is me.
Sometimes I think this doesn't have haste by accident. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that for sure.
Go time. Cut him down.
This'll shake him. I love a taste of the action.
I give you muscles. Death is underway.
Not the face!
See us.
God, Braum is good.
Be grateful I even noticed you.
The animation is so good.
Sure, waste my time.
No, leveled Braum is just like literally every time we take damage, we
Fuse his legs.
make a 3-3. Yeah, that's another thing that lends to games not taking forever. That's different from Magic. The fact that like the boards aren't just like gummed up forever is great. Oh, actually, mistake on my part. I should have sequenced so Braum was the last one attacking, so that way the Poro he makes could exist. Because right now there's not room for the Poro, right? Or is there? Doesn't work. Didn't matter, they're dead.
The day is ours. Now we eat.
The Poro will wait till the end of combat to see if there's space. Okay, that's good to know. Climbing on up the ladder. Thresh Gangplank, so another control deck. Probably don't need Tavern Keeper. Rest of this seems fine. Crimson Disciple plus Demolitionist is a good aggressive start. When are we getting a Minecraft stream with the kids? I don't know. Nice, freak.
Packed 'em good. I'll try anyone once.
I believe the next set for Runeterra comes out in August. They are on a 2-month release cycle currently. Do I Demolitionist? I think I'd rather Curator here
Come here.
because I have Awakener in hand.
Dear, what have you got us into now?
Be nothing left when I'm done.
The bloodier the better.
Being in August, Runeterra will be on a 2-month cycle, with every 6 months being a bigger expansion with a new region. Sweet. If a small indie company gave me a timeline like that, I'd be skeptical, but I would have bet that Riot has the resources to meet a deadline like that. Okay, so now here's a question. Do I play this out? Or do I play Braum and then play this before attacking next turn so I get my Mighty Poro to attack with too? I think I lead on Braum. And then I'll do this and then attack next turn.
I love a man with style.
Man, Crimson Awakener is good in this deck. And he just generated another Crimson Awakener. Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin.
See? Trust Braum.
Trust Braum. I feel like I need to change my game board. The arcade music is making me sleepy. Something if you're new that you might not be familiar with this game is which game board you have dictates what music you hear while you're playing the game. The Slaughter Docs is S tier game board music. I'm gonna mulligan both of these. Opponent is playing the Deep, so we definitely want to be the beatdown here. I never play mobile games with sound. I turn the sound on my cell phone every time I'm playing Runeterra because the sound design is just so good.
Show you what I can do.
Yeah, in addition to releasing sets every other month, they plan to do a balance patch every month. I agree. It's bad. A balance patch is effectively new content. Agree with that assessment. Unfortunately here, I don't think I want to use any of these spells, so I'm just passing and I'm going to give up 1 mana, but that's fine. Opponent has the attack token here. We'll open on Crimson Awakener and then attack with our Dorks next turn. Huh? I think even with... I really wish we could have drawn this last turn. I think even with this draw, I play Awakener to get pressure going here.
I will tend this garden.
You bad!
Oh, bang! Maokai is super strong here. Every time they play a unit, he summons a sapling that has Challenger, so it's going to get to pressure my things off the board, which is annoying. Do I just Kato here to be resource efficient? I feel like the answer to that question is yes. Kato's pretty aggressive here too, and again, we're the beatdown. We need to end this game before they get deep. My opponent's deck is called Deep because it has a mechanic called the Deep. And what that mechanic does is, when my opponent's deck has 15 or fewer cards in it, their units get bigger and some of them gain additional special effects. The goal, generally speaking, is to kill them by the time they get to that point or soon thereafter. What if we're gonna see, like, double Mile Feast here? Hey, Wabba Jack, thanks for the entire year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Do I open on attacks? Or do I play Crimson? If I play Crimson, I have 6 mana left over, which means I can Elixir and Fury still, so I think that's fine.
Action, Ed.
Blood exists to be pumped, no?
Okay, so this is targeting this. So this only kills it if this has less health than this. So I can either Noxian Fever to deal damage to this, or I can make him larger. I think I want to just make him larger. Again, that wonderful play and counterplay that Runeterra offers, that is excellent. And they're going deep here, so now this is a 7/7, which means I now have to make this even bigger to stop it again. Kato gives this +3 attack and overwhelm. That being said, this game is slipping away from us here. My opponent's still at 15, and they're now in the deep. Definitely going to be an uphill climb for us. I think we're just banking the spell mana. Sejuani's not bad. Sejuani can let us cut through a potential big blocker. Maokai's getting close here. He's up to 22.
Advent, come here, handsome.
Hello, dear. What have you got us into now?
I think we're probably dead here. I don't think I can beat a fling. I don't think I can beat atrocity.
Must teach me. When you have time.
I'll think about it.
Pain is nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're able to really get enough pressure assembled this game. Yep, here's Maokai leveling up. So, when he levels up, he obliterates our deck except for 4 cards. Right, forgot that my order matters here.
The calm before the storm.
Want to give this bigger one Overwhelm?
Busters! You defile the grove.
It's like a whale here. Yeah. Again, haven't been getting value out of my emotes so far today, chat. This deck's been sweet, and I've forgotten about them. Mogwai with the absurd host. Thanks, bud. Hope you had a good stream today. I believe this is something you were working on at some point. Something one of my viewers sent me. Playing some Braum Sejuani here on the ladder. This is a big host. Mogwai. Mogwai is like the Runeterra streamer. Him and Swim are up top. Sejuani Misfortune. So, mid-range deck that's a little bit aggressively slanted on average. I don't really know what our role is going to be here. It might depend on how our draws line up. I think I'm going to mulligan in a way to try and take an aggressive slant. I'm going to keep the Demolitionist and try and look for some other cheap cards that could pair with this. Probably just banking spell mana the first few turns. Crimson Curator gives us something to do with Demolitionist at least. I think, again, I could play this out as just like a vanilla 2-3, but I'd rather wait to get its trigger with Curator here, I think. Also, banking the spell mana is something we'll definitely use at some point in this deck. We've got a lot of combat tricks.
I need the reputation.
I'm one of the good guys, but not that good.
It's nothing personal.
They'd be pretty surprised they want to trade Misfortune for this, so we have tricks to prevent that.
Yeah, you don't want
Hey, Janaris, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back.
I've found my family, my blood.
So, If I block with this and Fury it, I'll get 2 triggers off of it. So we're gonna get 1 from the love tap, and then we're gonna get 1 from this bumping into here. So I think that's worthwhile. Get to like eat their thing and generate 2 cards. You can see when we mouse over the eye, there's 2 face down cards at the bottom to let us know that that's correct. That's some good value. Whoop. I think with this many of these, I'd actually rather lead on this as opposed to playing this out first. I just want to be resource efficient this turn. Pretty unlucky here for them. This hit some of my things at random, and they did not hit my X1. We have, how many cards in our hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We do have 10 cards. So if we pass the turn, we're not going to get our draw step, which is a little unfortunate. Hopefully we don't draw like a Sejuani or a Braum. So there's just a hard hand size limit in this game. You cannot draw past 10.
From the savage cold.
So they're at 11. Probably want to try and be as aggressive as possible here, but I'm also like pretty choked on resources at the same time.
Come, Clara, we have much to teach you.
I can't wait.
Even if I pump this, it still doesn't do anything meaningful, so we'll just take a hit here. And now's the question, do I want to deploy a 5/5? It would kill my 3/1. I could just deploy the Demolitionist here and hit them for 4. But then I don't really have a good enough board to open on attacks next turn. I probably don't have a good enough board to open on attacks regardless. We're at 9 cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You want to just play another Curator out? I think I want to just get some 5/5s down.
I'll think about
it. Well, you know. Would you say our hand is woke, chat? I feel like you could make the argument that our hand is pretty woke. Challenge them to a game of poker, right?
Teach me when you have time.
I'll think about it.
Warning shot. Are we about to get sharked? Oh, they're about to level Sejuani. That's probably the game. Feel like I would be surprised if we come back from this, even without a shark here.
There's plenty of
Just a Jagged Butcher. All right. I mean, all things considered, that could have gone worse for us.
Looking for some action, Ed?
Blood exists to be pumped, no?
Like, do I even attack them here? I almost feel like I have to.
Prove your worth.
poor thing.
Yeah, these blocks mean they're about to like warning shot me. Yeah. Had a lot of value there from our Crimsons, but just like didn't have enough time to get them all out into play. Too many things that played to the board in a way that wasn't profitable against their Sejuani. Yep. There was a 90s CCG called Deadlands where you had to keep playing draw poker in the middle of the game. Every card in the game had a poker value on it. That's funny. Braum Vladimir. Played against this combination of champions a couple of times, usually something more controlling. Is it, maybe someone in chat can let me know, is this something that's more established in the format, or is it still a bit of a brew? I've only played it against a handful of times so far post-patch. I'm gonna keep one transfusion along with Disciple. Hopefully we mulligan into something else that works with the transfusion. It's a mid-range control. Okay. The Tusk Raider has been super medium. I've been very, very whelmed by this card so far.
I'll try anyone once. Advent, come here, handsome.
Hello,
It may be right to just open on attacking for 2 here, because if they like play their own 3/3 out, I don't really want to attack into it. So it's very possible that my sequencing here is missing us some damage. It has some upside though of hitting them for extra damage if they don't have something to play out that's meaningful. It's potentially giving up a guaranteed 2 for a little bit higher payoff. Yeah, I agree, Drin. The plunder trigger is really not trivial.
It's nothing personal.
It's not felt like it's easy to get to.
I found my family, my bloodkin.
Wow, opponent just like lost 3 mana there. Gross.
Bloodier the better.
Hey, Sky Guy, thanks for 16 months. Welcome back. They're just offering to end the round again. I have 2 of these. I'm just gonna play on another thing. We played a Sejuani Teemo deck on stream recently, and was like, I thought it was just gonna be a meme when someone submitted it, but it actually felt like pretty reasonable. We won a good number of games with it.
You own what you take.
I have no idea what's in their hand. The emotes of this game are very good. It's the first card game where I've not just like shut off emotes and annoyance and disgust.
Strike at their foundations.
But I'm rich.
They could just have a bunch of combat tricks here. It's very potential. God, we still don't have enough mana to cast this card. It's 8 is so much mana.
Come, Clara, we have much to teach you.
I can't wait.
What do you feel are the most important characteristics for a competitive deck? Honestly, I have no idea. I'm mostly still just at the phase in this game where I'm doing my best to explore decks that other people have had success with, because the best way to learn how games work is to play decks that people you know are good. Can I kill them here? They're going to 6. So each of these is +4, right?
Is that all?
Kill you. And we got him. Opponent just clumped up there. Seems like when they were waiting there, they probably just had a bunch of combat tricks in their hand with nothing to do on board. Maybe they had those 2/3s in hand and were like waiting for a crimson unit to get value with them. And like while they were waiting, we just got so far ahead, weren't able to catch back up. What's my favorite part about this game? The amount of player agency it has and the amount of in-game decisions that you have. The way both the combat system and the priority system in this game works, along with how you get resources back every single turn. There's a lot of micro decisions that you make game to game in Runeterra that just really end up not being present in other games like Hearthstone or Magic. Runeterra definitely feels like it has some of the highest player agency, meaning that your in-game decisions have an impact on the outcome of the game, more so than any other card game I've played in recent memory. Oftentimes, I can look back on games of Runeterra and go, oh, I made this small mistake, or I could have done that differently to possibly push the outcome in a different direction. Opponent is playing Elise Kalista, which is probably Tempo Endure even after the nerf. I think I'm going to keep Omen Hawk in one because it's busted. Keep a Demolitionist. Hopefully we mulligan into a Crimson unit. The stupid 8-drop. I think we're going to cut the 8-drop after this. Yeah, I think that's true too. The amount of non-games, like, every game feels competitive until it's over a lot of the time in Runeterra. It's not like Magic where one player just like mulligans and dies, or floods and dies, or stumbles and dies. There's basically always choices to be made. Even just how partial mulligans work in this game tend to be more skill intensive than how mulligans work in Magic. I'm gonna eat their spider here so that way they can't eventually. Makes it harder for them to flip this down the line. Yeah, big agree. The fact that you like get information like to know how you should be mulliganing. One of the things I'm very adamant on about Magic is I like playing Magic as a best of 3 game where you get a chance to sideboard and mulligan intelligently, and this game just plays out as best of 1 so much better than Magic does, in large part due to the fact that you have the information from the start. You like don't need to go to a post-board game to mulligan intelligently.
Everyone's a guardian.
Okay, I think I'm just playing out this 3/4 here, and we'll deal a damage here. Although I guess this lets them hook and kill here.
For the glory of Noxus.
This game has the best play draw balance of any card game I've ever played as well. There's actually some decks in this game that want to go second, which is wild.
We could use a bite.
Now I have to decide, do I want to chump here? Or do I want to trade with the spider? I think I'm doing this, and then I'm going to go ahead and Noxian Fever, deal 3 here, kill the Elise, since this is going to die anyways. Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Magic though, Farron, Modern is like, Modern as far as Magic goes is far more heinous in terms of skewed matchups than anything else in that game.
Wait.
Like Modern magnifies a lot of the issues Magic has.
They're out there. I'll spot them.
Which mid-range is viable? I mean, this deck that we're currently playing is basically a mid-range deck. I think I might just pass here. I don't think I really want to play this out without Transfusion up.
There's nothing to fear.
Now that makes me want more blockers in play. Their colors don't really have...
If they don't
I'm
trade,
blanking on anything that punishes me here. They have some deal ones in their colors, but I think this just happens most of the time.
few are the many.
Do I want to attack? I don't really want to trade this for this, so I think I'm just passing. It's a decent pickup, especially when paired with this Transfusion.
You won't suffer long.
So I can block this here. I can block this here.
Here.
I can block this here. I can Noxian Fever, pump this, so I eat this, these trade, these trade. But letting this live with 1 life doesn't really accomplish anything either, though, right? Maybe I just let this survive and just trade here and then play this post-combat? That's probably better.
I love a man with style.
Heard it all before.
I guess I can Transfusion to save this. It also heals it up a little bit. It's probably fine. They take 2 as well. They gain 1 but take 2, so they'll net 1 loss.
Wouldn't use it.
Still just not at 8 mana.
This'll take a chill off.
This might be a little bit greedy. Perhaps I should use this to heal my Nexus. Yeah. Yikes. He's got 2 thumbs, is about to die to an atrocity. This guy right here. This thing is a 7/7. And we just go ahead and deploy that here if they don't open attacks. If they open attacks, they're trampling for 4. Then I'm taking 5, 6.
Better bleed.
I've carved meat bigger than you.
Yeah, Sejuani's leveled up. So, like, if we don't die here, we might have a shot. And, like, this is enough damage to their They Who Endure. Ship still too slow. Ship's just been stinky poop every time we've drawn it. I don't really know what else we want, though. Like, what are things that are like 2-ofs? I don't know that they're really good enough to go up to 3 on. Yeah, the O2 buff is good. That's true. This is like really good with the Crimson cards. Maybe that's just the one. That's probably correct. I don't hate that. You're like rarely sad to draw this card. Let's just do that for now. Noxious, Ionia here. Actually, first time playing against the aggro deck today. Kindly Tavern Keeper, excellent in the aggro matchup. Is Braum good enough to just keep in the opener here? Ember Maiden's the one that deals the damage to one thing every turn, right? I'm not a huge fan of that unit. It doesn't give you a lot of control. I think Braum's good enough in the aggro matchup to just keep him in the opener here. Second Braum's an awkward draw. Really looking for our 2-drops and our Omen Hawks at this point. That is a phenomenal draw. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Let me show you what I can do.
The attack with both of these, I'm going to snap this trade off here.
Let's get a good look at
Little
you.
bit of a misclick from the opponent there. This is fearsome, so I couldn't block it. But it might be newer to their deck or the game.
What you did.
Or just distracted, you know? Happens to the best of us. Oh, Ember Maiden deals damage to their stuff too, right? Everything. Yeah, maybe that's fine. So, I'm only gaining 2 here instead of 3. But I think it's worth it to just use my resources this turn.
This one's on the house.
Yep, Nocti. Unfortunately, that's a pretty common experience in the world we live in today.
Tell the one about your door again.
Walk softly, strike quickly.
And this is a backup Braum in case this one dies. How do we feel about leading on Kato next turn? We get to like Kato and then attack, pump Braum, hook their elusive, and kill it.
And there's me!
So this card supports the thing next to it. So again, it's a card that cares about the order in which you attack. So when we attack, we want to sequence this one first. And then Braum can force this to happen here. And then Kato will give this overwhelm. And again, if we mouse over the eye here, we can see what's going to happen. This is going to get bigger. He's going to take damage, and we'll get a thing. In the event that my opponent has some kind of pump spell to kill my Braum, that's not a big deal because I have another Braum. I think if I didn't have backup Braum in hand, I wouldn't be this aggressive with my first one. But I think because I have backup Braum, it's fine for me to just, like, be aggressive and clean their board out here.
Alert the kitchen. We'll need more food.
Alert the kitchen, we'll need more food. Alright, so if I okay, they're conceding. Let's see. If they don't concede there, we're gonna transfusion Braum, dealing a damage to him so we can make a Mighty Poro and then open on attacks there.
These friends we made
I just didn't have much going on. When they played their Decimate on turn 4 or 5 or whatever that was, pretty big sign that they were lacking things to play to the board. You know, in a way, polls like this makes me feel like I'm at least not alone. Generally speaking, do you feel things in America today are going somewhat badly, very badly? Yeah, you know, at least I know a lot of other people have a good baseline. And then DeFranco with the good commentary. What drugs are those 5% on, and how can I get a prescription? Sejuani Ash. Probably something mid-rangey / possibly aggressive. Range's actually pretty okay here. I guess I'd like to try and find a Crimson to pair with this Demolitionist. Poor little squawks.
Oh, I can't wait.
I think we're just passing here. I don't really want to bounce off of this. I take 2 damage regardless. And our deck's really good at leveraging spell mana, so banking a couple of mana early usually isn't a big deal. Okay, I don't think I want to just pass again. This being a 3/4 means it can block and attack into this, so we're definitely just playing this out.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Just gonna pass for now. I don't really want to attack this into their 2/1. We've got Braum here, so Braum will be able to hook our way through this.
Your path ends here.
Now, I think I just Fury here. Kill their thing. Means I don't get Braum down, but I can play Braum before I attack next turn, so it's kind of a wash. I'll play out the other Demolitionist here, while this has the extra health on it.
For the glory of Noxus.
It's a good thought. Perhaps it's worth it to just mulligan the Demolitioner without a guaranteed Crimson. I could see that. It does not seem unreasonable. What are the odds my first Braum dies here after he hooks this? I feel like the answer is high, so I'm going to lead on my 1/5 Braum as opposed to leading on my 2/6 Braum. Yes, yeah, Braum was patched in the recent update. This is fine.
Faster than my arrow?
Okay, and then I think we Sejuani here. Not only is it resource efficient, but it also means their Ash doesn't have good attacks now.
Shield is my soul, your best.
These are our lands.
Do you have any tricks? I think we just do this and trade these. Oh, they don't even trade now, right? Because this is pumped. Yeah, it's definitely the line.
Continue.
It is easy, see?
Pain is nothing. If they don't break,
A little damage to Braum here. If they hook our Sejuani, we can take heart plus transfusion. Do I want to transfusion here also? Probably not. I'm only going to lose 1 mana not doing it this turn, and I don't need to transfusion to save it. I think we just let this happen. It's going to be a little surprise for later. The 1 damage made Braum a lot better. Our order of our attacks doesn't really matter here.
Good luck. Have fun.
Suppose I want to hook this here so that way the 2-1 can't block Sejuani.
leave no surprise.
Yeah, always getting a Poro is a pretty big deal for sure. They're currently dead to these blocks, so that we'll get to wait and make them do something here. Are you dead, Jet? Yeah, his non-leveled form gives you a Poro just the first time it takes damage. So it doesn't give you a Poro every time, but just the first time. So you get 1 Poro out of him, which is nice. Yeah, it's really good balance patch overall. I know there were some people that were have a little bit more experience that thought Heimer VI should have maybe had something nerfed or adjusted in it. But overall, I think they hit a good range of things. I especially love all the buffs that they did in the 1.4 patch. Speaking of Heimer VI, I think this is a full mulligan. Pretty sure we're just looking for aggressive cards in this matchup. This is, our mulliganed hand, also not particularly stellar here. I'd be surprised if we have much of a shot. And they already nerf Heimer with increased cost. I have no idea. Neither of us making plays definitely favors the opponent's deck. Honestly, there's like 1,000 different knobs they could use to adjust Heimer meaningfully. If you ask me, Jeff, what would you do to Heimer? I would get rid of Elusive on his 3-cost turrets. I think is actually the only issue with it. I think there's a good chance Heimer's like just fine if they get rid of the extra damage on his turrets, or the elusive on the 3-drop turrets. Like make the 4 or 5-drop turret elusive.
One girl wrecking crew.
And I think they're good to go.
Time for talking. Show me your best.
Yeah, the fact that Flash of Brilliance gives you elusive things, I think, is a problem. Hey, admin, thanks for 39 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think we just let these bounce off each other. I can't kill it, right? Because I'm short on mana. We'll bank this up into spell mana. This gets us a Porto, and we get closer towards leveling him up.
It is easy, see?
More threats are good pickups here. Probably want to hold on to Noxian Fervor until Heimer comes down. Huh? Do I just, like, play Sejuani out here so I can open on attacks next turn? It's the most resource-efficient play. I think I like that.
To no one.
Yeah, I agree. There's no real garbage time in Runeterra. The decks that are looking to play long, once they get to the long game, they tend to kill you pretty quickly. You don't like spend 20 minutes waiting to die to a Teferi loop.
Enough stalling.
Shadow Isle Karma. I don't think I've seen that deck. It's not something I played against, at least. Yeah, the fact that life totals are locked at 20, so you don't just gain life endlessly, is a big deal.
To leave no survivors.
So whatever kind of tricks they have, I feel like we're in anything they can do, we can do better type situation here with Transfusion and Elixir.
Get back here.
Sometimes icy hot just needs warm smile.
Oh. Pretty easy open on attacks here.
My shield.
Hey, Drake Money, thanks for sharing some of Bezos' money this way. I appreciate the 15 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. If you're one of my subs, keep an eye out for I'm going to send out another sub survey this evening. It's been a little bit since I started doing Runeterra content, and I want to poll the people who pay my bills and how they feel about this game versus Magic. The sub survey kind of dictates how much time I dedicate to different things. And if the results from that justify it, I'd like to fit in some more Runeterra, because I've enjoyed this more than Magic recently. Braum is at 5 of 10, still pretty far away from leveling up. Nah, not really, Heisterness. However they do front page promotion these days, it must be different than the last time I had it, because it only ended up being like a boost of viewers by like 400 to 800 depending on the point, whereas like last time it boosted us by like 5,000 people and it was absurd. It was rather mild, all things considered, this time through.
Come, Clara, we have much to teach you.
I can't wait.
I think we just play this out so we can open on attacks and be as aggressive as possible next turn. Global thermal nuclear war. I think we just Braum's take heart here. This makes us permanently larger, which is great. And then hopefully with these two tricks in the fervor, we can kill them next turn. So again, we'll open on attack so they don't have a chance to deploy more units here. If they have another way to stun my thing, we could be in trouble. But the fact that they're blocking Sejuani with this would imply they don't have another way to stun here, which is good for us. Their take card here is an excellent pickup as well. Just a ton of combat tricks lined up. Okay, you're dying, so I'm gonna click OK and you're gonna die. You'll... The classic die with like 8 cards in hand. Even if they had stuff there, we were probably gonna kill them, but, you know. I like what this deck is doing. I'm a sucker for a good combat trick, and this deck is like pretty peak combat tricks, all things considered. The Crimson Disciples and Crimson Curator are just quite excellent with all of your different tricks. Elixir of Iron being a playable card is great. How do you take the sub-survey? It'll get sent out via email to your Twitch email if you have Twitch emails enabled. If you don't have Twitch emails enabled or they go to your spam folder, you don't notice them, pop in the subs Discord and I'll link it in the announcements channel there. If you're someone new to my content, you enjoyed me playing Runeterra and breaking down my plays here today, that's going to be it for my stream today. But I archive absolutely everything I stream and I cut it up deck by deck. So if you want to look back through for specific decks that you're looking to see gameplay with, you can find that up on my website and my YouTube channel now. If you're interested in seeing what my schedule is moving forward, including not only when I'm live, but what I'm live with when, you can find that on my website as well. Generally speaking, I'm looking to do Runeterra for a couple hours every single afternoon usually. So thanks everybody for hanging out. I'll be back again tomorrow. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Sunday and stay safe wherever you're at out there in this crazy world.